Having a hybrid model is definitely something that people are starting to recognize. Like, I can't just get away with just this whole telehealth thing. Well, Amazon is also showing you that's true for them too, right? So they're picking up on that industry norm that people would like to have the choice. Welcome to CEO Conversations, the private practice podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Mabra. This is your one-stop shop to learn the business side of your practice on a deeper level. On this show, we empower you to own your CEO status to scale your practice for growth, sustainability, and profit. Listen in as we talk about how to market your practice to gain more visibility, hire, build, and engage your ride or die dream team, create streamlined operations, and make financial decisions as a CEO. It's time to show up as a confident leader to create a practice and life you love. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome to another episode of CEO Conversations, the private practice podcast. It is Brandy Mabra, and I am so excited to be here with you today because we're going to do some market research. This is just real time of what my thoughts are on the new Nova Amazon. Amazon is officially in the healthcare market. They've already dabbled in it with pharmacies and things, but this episode was inspired by an email that I got. So I use Amazon personally. I use Amazon for all kinds of things in the business. They are now officially in healthcare. So the email read, "Your provider is waiting." Ooh, my provider is waiting. So of course, me being in healthcare and all the work that I get to do from a business side perspective and leadership and everything else too, I got very curious. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole of what's Amazon got going on. So we're going to talk about it today. So before you turn this off though, I am going to say this. You might be thinking like, this has nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. One of the best things that you can do as a practice owner is study the market. You have to be savvy on business. Like you are not doing yourself any favor if you only study your specialty or what you got going on. No, you need to understand things from a healthcare specific and not even just healthcare, but also what can you learn from other industries that you can even bring back to your practice. So that's why I love studying other business models and just seeing what is working for other like types of businesses, what's working in healthcare, what's not working in healthcare. So this conversation is actually going to be a little bit of both because we're going to talk about Amazon primarily, but also there's some people who have stepped in, some really big retail chains who have stepped into the healthcare space and kind of got slapped for it, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that Amazon is going to be successful at this because there are others who have tried it and have had to sell, or it wasn't going the way that they thought, or maybe they thought that it was going to complement what they already had going on and not. And then also some things that healthcare practices in a variety of ways where they're taking on some of the same things that healthcare or that retail industries are doing and pulling it into their practice. And that's kind of where my experience is as well. So I'm excited. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Amazon, they are everywhere. You can literally go to Amazon and probably get anything that your heart desires and it would show up. And so for them to tap into healthcare is interesting to me. I'm sure that they're doing it from a variety of ways. I mean, just think about lead generation when your visibility, access to people, access to buyers. So why not take care of their needs on a deeper level when it comes to healthcare, right? The way that they entered this space I thought was interesting because they entered it through pharmacy, right? So they've already have their pharmacy piece. There is a practice that I had worked at. This was probably mid career for me. And there was a pharmacy that was actually on site. It was very convenient. It was a primary care practice, large practice, like multi provider, multi specialty, but also a pharmacy on site. And so that pharmacy was fed specifically from our practice. It was a completely separate entity. So the pharmacy wasn't owned by the practice, but it was very convenient. And they had multiple locations, and one of the locations was inside of the medical office building that I was in, and that the practice was located in that took up the whole building except for the pharmacy. Those were like the two businesses, right? The practice and the pharmacy. Nice referral loop, right? So nice way to tap into a complementary service line. So a lot of times from a marketing perspective, you want to partner with other businesses where your person is. So that's what Amazon is doing. Amazon has created the biggest partnership collaboration from people who are buying normal everyday stuff. The wonderful thing about healthcare is that there is no limit to the people that you can help, right? That's why when economic times hit or rough patches happen, healthcare usually remains pretty stable, right? Also, from funding standpoints or getting capital, if you are in healthcare, it's easier for you to get that type of funding or for people to invest in your business. There are clients that we have that consistently get offers, for them to buy their practices and have sat down with investors and all kinds of things. Why? Because healthcare is lucrative. So regardless of what's happening in your practice financially, thinking outside the box is important, right? So there's a lot of companies that have come up off of people who are not clinicians, who are not in healthcare, who have like no background in healthcare, who have no degrees in healthcare, and they have been able to build these really big companies that are healthcare based. Why? Because healthcare is the only industry where you have to have it. Like your health is so important. It is not a matter of if, but when you will need some type of healthcare service. So when you are in that, like it's not a luxury. It's not something that you can just, oh, I can't. I'm just going to die today. That's not the conversation, and which makes healthcare really powerful. The nuances that get people, especially from a business perspective, is that they don't pay attention to the ebbs and flows or what the industry is telling them, right? When it's time to switch things up, they don't understand their financials and they overextend themselves or they don't hire the right team, like all of those things. And because there's not maybe the backing of like what an Amazon has, then their practice goes under or they sell it for pennies on the dollar in order to just exit it. And part of this conversation is for you to, again, think about your practice differently, be open, and understand that there is money to be made in healthcare if you decide that's what you want to do. So I'm going to start with going through website and just letting you know what Amazon has going on. So when I got the email, okay, my provider is waiting. What is my provider waiting to do? Like what's he going to do with me or she or they? Like what's going to happen? So what I loved about it is like when you go to the website, they have partnered with One Medical, which is a multi-site medical practice, and they're in different locations. But originally, what you'll see and what I thought was interesting is that they have what they coined digital healthcare. And it started off with 24/7 on demand care with Prime. Now, when I think of Prime, I think about the fact that I can get my shipping for free because I pay a yearly, a yearly fee. Well, what they've done is they've actually incorporated a membership model. We had a episode where we talked about memberships and adding a membership model to your practice. Well, this is what Amazon has done. So this is one of the things of how they can help serve you is that they can help serve you through a membership model. So you can pay $9 a month to be part of the One Medical membership, which is part of Prime, but they're calling it the One Medical membership. At first when I saw this, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like how are you going to live on $9 a month?" Like I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who have access to Amazon. It's going to be a thousands of people, but $9 a month, like that doesn't sound very lucrative. What they're doing is actually no. Like, so when you start your 14-day free trial, is you are still using your insurance. So the membership money that people are paying is just a bonus. Like that's just extra money. What I like about this is that it's creative because a lot of people get stuck. Like one of the things I say, the difference between a seven-figure, multi-seven, eight-figure practice owner and the person who is like trying to get to six, maybe even trying to get to seven, is they're not stuck in the healthcare woes. They understand what the healthcare system is. They understand the healthcare system is broken, but they're also looking at ways like, okay, how can I leverage this? What can I do inside of my practice in order to bring in more money? And they kind of stay in that space, right? Not that it's going to be easy or not that there's not struggles. I never want to paint that picture, but they also are very like, okay, well, what can I do? Because they've been able to get to such a high level of revenue. It's more or less like, okay, what's next? So I like the fact that there's a membership that's bonus money. So if you have 1,000 members, just to throw that out there, that are all paying $9 a month, and that's just for some luck services. So easy to book same day, next day appointments. So with this membership comes an app. But if you $9 a month, let's say $9 a month, I got my calculator here. So you're going to see hear some clicking and things in the background. That's an extra $9,000, just of revenue for for services that are going to continue to happen, right? So extra $9,000, and then the person still comes in, you're still going to use their insurance. So one of the disclaimers is, and what we do know, is that they cannot use people who cannot be part of this membership model are people who are on Medicare and Medicaid. And that's across, that's nationwide. You can't just, if you're going to be Medicare and Medicaid, that's what you got to use. So you can't be billing them an extra $9 a month. They know that. But Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, they don't say nothing about that, right? So if a person chooses to be part of the membership in order to get some Lux services or what they're deeming Lux services, then they're going to pay an extra $9 a month in addition to what their insurance is paying. So for reimbursement rates are down. I hear that all day long. So with reimbursements going down, the question is, what do you do about it? Well, you can add a membership model and get some additional money, and then have where people who are part of this membership model, they get certain services that come with that, right? So whether if it is the app or being able to get in same day, like all of those things add to the experience, the patient experience. Now, what they are doing also is they have in person and virtual visits. One of the things that I have heard consistently and that I know to be true is that we are past COVID. Like we are past pandemic. Those days are gone. And now we are literally in a place where people are open and they want to come inside. They want to be with people. They want to actually engage with their providers in real life. So having a hybrid model is definitely something that people are starting to recognize. Like I can't just get away with just this whole telehealth thing. Well, Amazon is also showing you that's true for them too, right? So they're picking up on that industry norm that people would like to have the choice. I would like to have a choice to maybe be seen virtually, but also if I want to come in and actually talk to my provider face to face to build a relationship, I want to have that option too. So they have multiple locations. Right now, you can go to a one medical location in Atlanta, Austin, Boston, Chicago, Columbus, Connecticut, DC, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Orange County, Phoenix, Portland, Raleigh, Durham, San Diego, Seattle, and San Francisco Bay Area. So that's where these locations are. So they are going into primary care. Primary care is what most PCPs and what the PCPs that I have lovingly worked with call themselves the dumping ground of healthcare. So everything comes through a primary care's office, right? And that's a smart move on Amazon. So they didn't start off with specialty, but they do have multi specialty that's happening within their practice. So primary care is it, but they're handling a number of different things. So what are they doing inside of these practices? They are actually handling women's health. They're handling mental health. They have pharmacy that's available in Atlanta. It's an affiliation with Emory's Healthcare Network, but it's connected to Amazon. So this is their practice. So what they've done is they've done a huge collaboration with the hospital system in order to serve those who are coming to Amazon who are paying $9 a month for a membership. In addition to that, when they come into the office, they are now also using their health insurance as well and getting multiple services. So the other thing too is that they're seeing people across the spectrum from pediatrics all the way up to adult years and stuff. So those are different disciplinaries within a practice, which is smart. So they're serving their person on all levels, right? So whether if you have a chronic illness or if you're trying to live a happier, healthier life, is what this website says, then you can do it through One Medical, right? In Atlanta. Why is this important? I think it's important because we can definitely learn from it as we're thinking about practices. One of the things that I know to be true, one of the things I have said, and we've had even just guests who have talked to it too, multi specialty is powerful. So if you are only diving into one specialty, if you are in the beginning stages, I'm not going to tell you start multi specialty. You need to just get yourself filled and get your niche comfortable. However, if you are further in the journey, you might want to look at, can I bring in a different specialty into my practice? Because that's ultimately what Amazon is doing. They're taking the normal person who's buying I don't know, groceries or buying a book or buying some type of whatever from Amazon clothing. And how can we care for them on a deeper level? Well, we can care for them by looking at their health. And we're not only going to look at their health, we're going to look at their health from the physical to the women's health to mental health. So we're going to look at them holistically, ultimately. So it's a powerful business model. And then on top of that, they have the pharmacy piece too. So once you go through and see your primary care provider, or once you go through and get whatever things that need to be done from like a women's health perspective or even mental health perspective or pediatric perspective, now you can go over to their pharmacy and get their medication. So literally it's closing the loop, which I think is really important for you to pay attention to. So how can you do that inside of your practice now? Right? What are some additional things that you can do inside of your practice where you're taking care of your person on a deeper level? This is not about, oh my gosh, Amazon's coming in and taking over and all the people who were going to come to my practice are now not going to come to my practice. No, there is space for everybody. And some people aren't going to want to even be comfortable. Like when they think about Amazon, they want to keep Amazon in the I'm going to buy my outfits and my clothes and maybe some toiletries or toilet paper or whatever. I'm going to keep Amazon in that bucket. And I'm not going to combine it with like my healthcare needs. So not everybody is going to want to do this, but I do think that again, there's some things that we can learn from it, which is why we're having this conversation. Now, if you decide to participate in the membership, again, you just go, you can sign up for it online. You do have to apply for it, but it auto renews. So there's no having to send an invoice, nothing to keep up with it. It's just $9 just coming out of people's accounts. Or you can do $99 for the year if it's accepted, and you can do the 14-day trial just to make sure that it makes sense for you. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that you can pay per visit. And the pay per visit is $29 for a message visit. So I know with the clients that I work with, your teams get a lot of messages. There's a lot of things that you're doing just through email or through the portal or just simple phone conversations where you could probably charge for that, right? And so I'm not a biller, I'm not a coder, but I definitely always suggest again, we're looking at ways to enhance revenue for message visits. If you're just treating somebody, telling them what to do, that does count. So they're charging folks $29 for a message visit and then a $49 for a video visit. This is for cash pay. So if you want to pay per visit, you can do that. If not, then you can also use what they have here. They outline it very easily. You can use your HSA, your FSA, and also your health insurance. So save time and money on your meds. Like they're really diving into things from a marketing perspective. So again, I'm going through websites as I'm talking, but get a care team and smart devices. So even like there's the technology piece that they have going on here too. So manage weight, diabetes, high blood pressure, and more at zero cost to you. That's a benefit. So even from a marketing perspective, they're making this sound really sexy. Like, oh, I can have it so convenient and so easy for me just to have my health care, your health your way, which is even from a copy perspective on a website it automatically speaks to the person. Okay, your health your way. So you can do the membership, you can pay per visit, you can get your pharmacy stuff. Like everything is here for you according to Amazon. So stay healthy at the speed of Prime, which goes back to the membership model. So a couple different ways, but it's still traditional healthcare. They also spoke to what I like about this too is they actually spoke to what most people are going to think of. Like they had mentioned, like you can still use your insurance like a traditional healthcare model. So they know that some people are going to be like, I don't know about this. I'm not too sure. When we're thinking about sales, they spoke to the objection right? So you can still come to a normal doctor's office if that's what you want. So we take insurance. This is what it says on the website. We take insurance like a typical doctor's office. So they know this sounds weird. You're sitting up or giving me a $9 website with Prime. When I think about Prime, I think about ordering my toilet paper and not have to pay for shipping. You are talking about technology. I don't know if I'm ready for technology to be part of my healthcare, right? So a lot of people are still trying to get used to like AI. And I want to have a relationship with my provider. So, can I still use my insurance? So they have literally answered every single question that a person could have through their marketing on their website. So again, we're going through this because I think that there's things that you can learn. So when you think about your website, how are you talking to your person? Does your person, are you speaking to objections? Is your team speaking to objections? So there's a whole episode that I did where talking about like teaching your team how to market within your practice to your patients. Because a lot of those conversations, like if you're not talking to the benefits, if you're not talking to why somebody should move, why somebody should purchase, then you're missing a really great opportunity from a marketing and you're actually leaving money on the table. So there's that episode as well. So we'll make sure that we put that in the show notes. Easily book same and next day appointments. So how easy is it to get into your practice? Are people able to get into your practice? Is your wait list so long where you know, like, I probably need to hire a provider or we need to do something? Is there an opportunity for you to maybe do like a one to many model or to maybe separate people too? So easily book same and next day appointments. The only people who can do that though are the people who are part of the membership. So if I call, I'm not part of Prime or the one medical membership, I can't get a same day. I'm going to just be put in with everybody else. So whenever I can get in is when I can get in. But if I can pay an additional fee every month, so is that an opportunity for you, right? The flip side to this is that all this sounds really great, but what is the sustainability of this model? Right? What is the likelihood that this is going to be around for the next 5 days? So there are next 5 days, next 5 years. So there's a couple people who have jumped into the healthcare space that were kind of out of alignment. Now, the one that's very clear, I remember going back to that same primary care office that I was part of. We were concerned because there was a minute clinic with CVS that started right across the street. And of course, we were like, oh my gosh, they're going to take all the patients. They didn't. I mean, no, 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 because everybody isn't ready or not everybody takes that type of healthcare seriously. And that's what we found. So when the CVS opened up across the street, business did not change. We actually continue to make money. We continue to hire providers. We continue to be profitable. We can continue to expand, like all the things. But we did learn a couple of things when it comes to efficiency and how to, where we maybe didn't need so many people, because those are what those types of offices do. So if you go into a CVS minute clinic, you don't have a check in person, you have a kiosk, you have mid level providers or advanced care providers, and they are the ones who are doing a lot of the work and everything else too. And so, being part of a primary care where a lot of physicians, we also had, nurse practitioners and physicians' assistants, it was interesting just to see, the dynamic of things. The other thing is for ongoing care, the relationship was always built with our practice, right? And so we found that this was more supplemental, which is part of too what Amazon has done. That's why they have their one medical locations where you can get in-person health too, because the relationship that you have with your provider is so important. So another example where this has not gone well, obviously CVS still has their minute clinics and they have actually merged with Target because Target tried to jump into the space as well, but they were smart. They were like, okay, healthcare is not our thing. This is not our thing. So we need help with this. So they partnered with CVS. So if you notice, if you go into a Target, their pharmacy is not owned by Target. It used to be. It is now officially owned by CVS. So CVS and Target have merged for pharmacy services, and they now have minute clinics that are inside of Target. So a lot of these models have been happening over the years in different collaborations and partnerships. And really, it comes down to where are people? Like from a marketing perspective, from a visibility perspective, a lot of people are shopping in Target, a lot of people get medications. And so it's just more access to people who, again, who need healthcare. Now, the retailer who jumped into this and it did not go well was actually Walmart. So as of this year, Walmart, July 2nd, 2024, Walmart sells Me MD virtual care service. So that I remember when they actually started doing virtual health care, and move follows retailers exit from Walmart health clinics. So they are no longer doing this. So they're shifting away from primary healthcare services. They have sold that division. And so they've decided that it would shut down its Walmart health division. So not everybody can really carry this off or like carry this out and do it well. And a lot of it depends on the connection. A lot of it depends on branding. A lot of it depends on the actual care that's happening. So if it's rushed care, if there's, a lot of mistakes sometimes when people step into this, especially if they're not familiar with healthcare, they miss the mark, right? And so people don't want to go to Walmart. When I think about Walmart, I definitely don't know if I want my healthcare at Walmart because I go there when I am trying to save money. I'll be honest. I'll go there when I'm trying to save money or when I'm trying to maybe get some toiletries or groceries, same kind of mindset. But Walmart does not feel like where I want to see my doctor at Walmart. And so it looks like that's a lot of what happened. So they acquired MeMD in 2021. So they didn't even make it 3 years before they decided to shut it down. So they had a lot of business and it didn't work. So I say this because we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Amazon. We don't know where things are going to be at in the next 5 years and if Amazon's actually going to be able to pull this off. But I will say, based on what they're doing, they're smart. So they know reimbursement probably isn't the way to go. Probably a lot of their money is going to come more from the pharmacy piece and the fact that they are incorporating other specialties into their practices and that they recognize that telehealth is just one piece of it, but also in person. So Walmart didn't do this. Same thing with Target. Target is recognizing, okay, we probably need more experts. So let's partner with CVS and making sure that we're set up for success that way. So, all interesting stuff, all interesting stuff. So, there are a couple of questions that I do want to make sure that we go through. And so we're going to dive into that so that way you can maybe take some things. There's going to be some links that are going to be in the show notes for you to go and kind of maybe go down the rabbit hole the way that I have. But I think it's just really cool that you can study other healthcare businesses. Now, what I will say is a lot of times when people do this is they'll go ahead and they'll hire like the team that maybe these places have. Stay in your lane when it comes to your budget, what your expenses is or what your revenues got going on with it. But also recognize that you need to study industry and see what's working, what's not working. And there are some things that you could probably implement from this inside of your practice. So, to wrap this episode up and to put some intention behind this episode, here are some questions that I want you to ask yourself. Is there an opportunity to enhance your practice model? Amazon has a membership model for VIP services where you can get same day or next day scheduling. And so for that, you're paying $9 a month. In addition to once you have your visit, they're going ahead, taking their insurance, the person's insurance, and that is just additional bonus money, right? So, from an operation standpoint, making sure that there's space and room for those membership folks who want to get into the practice same day or next day. And so that would be a definitely a metric. However, it's still a nice way to enhance the reimbursement that's coming into the practice. So, is there another opportunity for you inside of your practice to do something that's similar, that's thinking outside the box? Question number 2 is, what would it look like to bring in a different service into your practice? Amazon completely doing something different. Started off with books, made this huge pivot. Is there a different specialty? So they have a multi-specialty. They help people, even though it's leading with primary care, every specialty practice leads with something. So they're leading with primary care. However, how they're helping folks is definitely from a multidisciplinary lens. So, do you have the same opportunity? One of the most lucrative practice models that there are is that multidisciplinary. So, when you can help your patient on a deeper level, it's a win win for everybody. Question number 3. What are some ways you can scale your practice? Going with, the trends, right now there is the opportunity for in-person and telehealth. Practices who are only doing one or the other are finding that people are asking for the service that they're not offering. So for the folks who are maybe completely online, completely telehealth, I would not be shocked if folks are asking like, "Oh, do you have any in person?" And then for the folks who are only doing in person, there are folks who are asking, "Hey, do you have any telehealth that are available?" Right? So meeting your person where you are, definitely some opportunity to do some market research, some additional market research based on your demographic and region and where you're at. And the market always demands a lot of what you're implementing inside of your practice because you want to be the solution to the problem, right? And so listening and paying attention, which is why I wanted to do this episode, because you can pick up a lot of great information from studying other types of business models, other types of practices models, and then taking the best of that practice model and implementing it inside of your practice. The other thing is that Amazon not only has the digital footprint, right? They also have the in-person footprint with multiple locations. So not saying that you need to scale your practice across the nation, but I do know that we do have clients that is like how they want to be. They want to be globally known. And with that, again, how do you want to scale? What does that look like for you? There's no right or wrong way. It's according to your mission and vision and purpose that you've been given and the impact that you want to make. But there is always an opportunity for maybe you to get some ideas, some inspiration, and like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know that that was possible. Question number 4 is, what's the goal of you growing your practice? Why are you doing what you're doing? It's very easy to kind of just be there and go from one task to another task, from one patient to another patient, from one chart to another chart, from one meeting to another meeting, from one conversation to another conversation, whatever your day to day looks like, and forget, like, why am I doing this? And are you getting lost? Has your vision or your mission been lost? And if the answer is no, I think we're on point, then I want you to go a little bit deeper. What's the purpose of your practice? And there's one question I always ask is, do you want to sell your practice? Are you growing your practice to sell? Or are you growing your practice for legacy? Two different types of mindsets. Amazon got me to thinking about this because they have the multiple practices across like locations with One Medical across the country, which means that they have partnered with different healthcare systems. They have probably bought some practices in order to be able to do that. And again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. There are some folks who get in it like, yes, I'm absolutely growing this sucker to sell it. That's my whole point. That's my whole reasoning for being. And then there's some people are like, no, I would love to be able to handle it down as an actual business or to leave it as a legacy for it to exist even past me. So, some things that we can learn from Amazon just as a wrap up, think bigger. There are people who are doing some amazing things in healthcare that have no healthcare background. And the folks who are actually in it every day, doing the work, seeing like boots on the ground, putting in the risk, think bigger. You deserve it. In order, if you are really in this to make an impact, to make a change, to even from financial or if it's purpose driven, it doesn't matter. You deserve it. And I would much rather for you to win compared to honestly someone like Amazon. Jeff Bezos, he's already won. I want you to win. Like I want you to win. And even for some of like the tech companies and things, a lot of these companies are being made by people who are learning healthcare as they go along compared to the folks who really know it and understand it. So throw your hat in the ring. And remember, there's always an opportunity for you to pivot. It's just a matter of having the courage to do it. I'm confident that if you're listening to this podcast, there's probably some big idea that you have that just maybe feels, I don't think that I could ever do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because I believe if the idea is there and it keeps hounding you and hounding you and hounding you and speaking to you, then it's meant for you. And it's a matter of making a decision, having a conversation, maybe talking to an investor, telling someone your idea, seeing if somebody would be interested, wanting to partner with you. It's all waiting for you. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it was inspiring. I hope that it was educational. Don't just stick with looking at one business model. Look at all kinds of different business models inside of healthcare and outside of healthcare to help you to become more savvy for the business side of your practice. All right. So have a great day. If you need some additional support, as always, there is Private Practice CEO. You can see the link in the show notes as well, in addition to the other ways that you can get some additional support when it comes to the business side of your practice. So I hope that you have an amazing day and own your CEO status. Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the episode and it empowers you as the CEO of your practice. If you enjoyed the podcast, please make sure you subscribe, share the message, and leave a review. If you want more information and support in growing and scaling your practice, click the link in the show notes to take advantage of our free resources or apply to work with me directly. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.